Hi and welcome to the Finance Check and this week's weekly analysis for the 22nd to the 27th of February 2026. So today we'll be looking at GBPUSD, our first pair. So last week we would have had a nice sell run, which is this sell run here on GBPUSD, and I do believe that the market is continuing to go down based on our Fibonacci. But I've expected that the market will pull back, and it would have pulled back into this area here, matching in this zone. We would have seen that the market tapped here once, twice, and it should come back here. So as the market is on our zone, we would look for price and take the market down. So we would be expecting our TP to be at 1.31828. However, if the market fails to continue its way down, once the market breaks above our 1.35905 area, we will wait for a pullback and look for an entry to buy, and we will buy up to 1.37919. Right? So that's our analysis. That's what we'll be looking at on GBPUSD for this week. We'll be also looking at GBPJPY. GBPJPY have given us that rundown. However, it fails to continue breaking the low. So it has come into this area here, and we would have gotten an indication that the market wants to go up. The market came back and it pulled back in the very same area, and that is the reason why we are looking for buys. These buys we are looking for, patiently waiting for it to reach our weekly resistance. Our weekly resistance is at 214.941. However, if the market fails in any area to continue bullish, we'll be looking for a bearish entry. However, we are only interested in bearish entries below this zone. And let me tell you why. If we go to the daily time frame, we would see that this area here is our zonal point. So until the market breaks this area, that's the only time we could look for sell. Once the market breaks this area, comes back, give us a pullback, then we will be looking to go down, and our stop loss will be somewhere above right here. All right, so that's the reason why we are more looking at a bullish move than a bearish move. But of course, we can't tell the market what to do. So if the market decides that it wants to go bearish, then we'll be looking for entries in the bearish area as well. All right, our next pair is USDJPY. We are looking for USDJPY to give us the buys, right? Why? Because the market would have given us this run, and then after it stalled, it would have stalled at this area here. It keep coming down, coming up, coming down, coming up, and it would have broken out of the area, indicating to us that it wants to go up. And that's one of the reasons why we are buying or looking for the buys on USD, JPY, excuse. So the market gave us an indication that it's going to go up, and then it gave us the pullback. Right? It pulled back within our region, and now we are looking for the buys. Why our TP is there? Because our Fib confirmed to us that once the market goes up, here is our destination point. The market would have given us a A, it would have given us our B, which is our impulsive or indication that it wants to buy. It would have pulled back in our 50% region. So now that it would have pulled back to our 50%, we are looking for it to rise to the 1618. And that's where our TP came in for 157830. Yeah. However, we must take into account if the market goes south. So if the market comes and it pull up a little bit and then it chooses to sell, then we would be looking for the sell when it comes down, break this zone, which is below our stop loss, pull back, and then this will be our sell area, which is 152,200. So now we're looking at gold. So gold has respected our trend line. It has been, even though we get this indication, gold has been giving us higher highs. And because it has been giving us higher highs, we operate as to what the market is telling us to do. But we're not going to just jump in the market. While the market is giving us higher highs, we want a good entry. So now that the market would have given us this high, come back to this high, come back to this higher high. We are expecting the market to come up, which it has reached into our region, and we are expecting it to pull back, and come to our trend line. And once it hold at our trend line, once again, we're gonna buy from this area, this blue region. We're gonna buy from there straight up to 5522.986. Why are we buying and why are we taking that TP? Our fib. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm a heavily fib trader and swing with Fibonacci. So most of my markups are done on the 4 hour and the entries on the 15 minutes. So back to the analysis. So we would have had a A, a B. The market came back at a 38.2 C. So now we are waiting for the market to go up, and that is why we are buying, because our Fibonacci has confirmed that we are in a bullish momentum. However, if the market breaks our blue region, breaks underneath here, if it comes down and it break, once we get a pullback, then we would sell. Do not take it for granted that the market, we are seeing that the market is giving us a pullback. Remember, we are looking for the pullback, but to our trend line, and then go up. Why we would go all the way down here if the market breaks our trend line, breaks our zone, and start falling, is because on a higher time frame or a bigger scale, the market would have given us this indication. And this indication for the sell would have told us that our 168 is at 3686.532. The market would have said in our fib in the down that we would have had a B, a 38 to pull back, and then the market should collapse. Remember, that is our sell scenario. If Once price holds at our trend line, holds within our zone, we are continuing to buy up to this point. Yes? And our last pair is the Euro US. Euro US has been giving us a lower high. On DXY, it tells us that the market is going up. So if DXY is saying that it's going up, then Euro US should be falling. Euro US has come into our zone, which is this gray box. It has come into our zone. So once we continue to get the rejections, we have 1, 2, 3. Well, the market is currently at this candle, so we have 2 rejection points so far. If we can continue to get rejections, we will go down on the lower time frame, which is the 15 minutes. And we would look for an entry right here, and that entry will be coming down to 1.16596, right? So once the market continues to fall, remember we are looking for, or we are expecting market was to come back into this zone, right? So now that the market is in this zone, we are looking to see what the market is going to do. There is a high here. If the market breaks above here, anywhere in this region above here, if the market breaks, then once we get a solid breakout and the market comes back in our pullback, we're going to take an entry to buy. And we will buy up to this point, which is 1.20843. Yeah. So, guys, this is my analysis for this week. And I pray that you all will have more pips. So have a pipful week, you guys.